Hi, it's Mr. Dix here. So again, we're going to be eating at the movies, and the vote was for the meatballs and pasta in Lady and a Tramp. Nice recipe this one, fairly simple, not many ingredients at all. A few surprises in their ingredients, but you'll see hopefully how they work. So first thing is the sausage meat. I've actually just got a packet of sausage meat, but you should get 8 or 12 sausages, and you take the skin off and then just put them into a bowl. All right, so that's that. What we're then going to do, add some chilies, not many, we've got some crossed chilies there. That's about 1/4 teaspoon. Just add some background heat. We're going to add the zest of a lemon, or most of a lemon. Now, I've got one of these, luckily, which work really well. You can also use, if you haven't got one of these graters, a standard box grater. If you use a standard box grater, always go for the finest one, but it can be quite sometimes difficult to get it out. Just a reminder, when you're grating, you just want the yellow. You don't want to go down to the white. If you do it, you get a bitter. You want the essential oils that's in the lemon. So we literally go grate, and turn it, grate. Right, you're just taking off literally the yellow colour, no more than that. You're going to need about probably half a lemon, I would say. Any more than that, it would just be too lemony. So let's get that out. So that's that. And then we need a little bit of parmesan, and normally I would get a whole block of parmesan and grate some in. Unfortunately, I forgot, so I did have some pre-done parmesan, as it happens. So some parmesan just goes in like that. So that's about a tablespoon of parmesan. Obviously some seasoning, so some salt. Not too much salt because the parmesan itself is very salty, and some pepper. All we then do is mix that together. Just like that, so it's nice and combined. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now is, I have a frying pan. It's not on. I have a frying pan, and I'm literally going to start making some meatballs. Now, don't make them too big, all right? It's important that otherwise it'll take too long to cook. Okay, so, and I'm actually going to put them into the frying pan, ready to fry. All right, and then I can put some oil in. It's just easier to do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to lay them all around and then put the oil in. So meatballs in the pan. I've also got, you can't see it, but probably hear it, I have a pan of water, half full of water I put on ready to cook the pasta. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the meatballs on the heat, drizzle some oil in, not much because the sausage meat is quite fatty, and gently start frying them. Now, top tip, do not start shaking or moving the pan. You just put the oil and put them on medium heat and allow them to fry on the bottom for at least a few minutes, or until you can hear them cooking. What you then do is gently turn them over. If you start shaking them immediately that it goes on, the sausage meat will break up and you won't get nice meatballs. It will kind of go to like a mash. Okay, so now we start thinking about the sauce. Now the sauce is dead simple, but slightly unusual. So what we have is some anchovies. All right, and you think, oh, sorry, yeah, I don't like anchovies either. But what they are very good for is as a seasoning, and an authentic seasoning. I think I mentioned in videos before, there's a flavour called umami, which is a very savoury flavour. Now, you need to trust me on this one, is that you only want a couple of anchovy fillets. You will not taste them at all. But what it will give you is a deep, savoury flavour. Now, if you really don't want anchovies, or if you're allergic to them maybe, which is possible, you can actually Worcestershire sauce. On one of the videos I said what's the unusual ingredient in Worcestershire sauce, and it's anchovies, all right? Fermented anchovies, which you wouldn't think, really. Okay, so all we're gonna do is very finely chop up the anchovies. Now these will, just to be clear, these will dissolve in the sauce. You really won't see them or taste them, but you will know if they're not there, if you tasted the sauce with them and one without. So, anchovies go in. I'm then gonna put in my tomatoes. Just a tin of regular tomatoes. They go in. Again, some seasoning. So some pepper. And some salt, and actually that can just stay on the side for the moment until the meatballs are starting to cook. You may not be able to hear or see, but my water now is boiling for the pasta. Now pasta takes 10 minutes. The Italians have a certain way of opening pasta. I'm going to slightly move the camera up so you can see the water. There we go. The Italians do a certain way. You can, of course, open it, of course you can, but a much more fun way of opening pasta is simply giving it a whack on the table. There we go, just like that. So, as you can see, the water's boiling. To work out how much pasta per person, you want around the diameter of a 10p piece, thereabouts. Okay, it's a sort of a generous 1 person. Okay, kind of about that is about 1 person. I'm going to do enough for a few people. Again, what happens is, and I'm sure everyone knows this, but students will kind of put the whole packet in. Oh, I've got a big family. That's fine as long as your pan is big enough, right? Because pasta absorbs water a lot, probably triple the size, quadruple the size as it is originally. And what will happen is the water will just simply get sucked into the pasta and burn on the bottom. All right, so if you're going to do a lot of pasta, you need a large saucepan. All I'm going to do then is, here's my pasta. I'm going to put the pasta in. And as it cooks on the bottom, I will be pushing it in so it goes all the way in, and then it's 10 minutes until that's done. Okay, so pasta's cooking away. Meatballs are gently frying. Notice it's fairly gentle. Obviously yours might be different. I'm using electric here, as you can see, but this is on number 5, so not full power. Just, as I said, just leave them, allow them to cook. But what you do is have a little peek underneath one, and that has gone, as you can see that, nice and brown. So I just gently turn them over, and allow them to cook on the other side. The smell's great, I have to say, with that lemon. Again, these are fairly versatile. If you're not into lemon, that's not your thing, don't put it in. You could add some herbs, some green herbs would work, you know, parsley, chives. But the principle is going to be exactly the same. So we're going to turn those over. Again, don't prod them around too much, just allow them to set on that side. And they'll be done in probably 3 minutes or so. So, pasta has around 2 minutes to go. The meatballs are nicely brown, but no, they are not actually cooked yet. They're very nearly cooked, but not quite. So I'm going to take the meatballs actually off completely, just for a moment. And I'm going to put on the tomato sauce, okay, with the seasoning and the anchovies in. Remember the anchovies, I put them in. I'll put a bit of Worcestershire sauce in, just that nice umami flavour. Now this will take probably 1 minute maybe to heat up, okay? You could, of course, I could have put, you know, this saucepan on another one, but that's fine. What's going to happen is, when this is hot, I'm going to put the meatballs actually in the sauce and finish cooking the meatballs in the sauce. All right, gently. At the moment, this is cooking quite quick, so I will turn it down. You want a very gentle simmer, but it's literally going to be 2 minutes in the sauce, just finish cooking, and then we can all put it together. So we nearly get there. So with cooking, remember, be kind of reactive. Don't just think, oh, well, it doesn't say to do that, so I won't. The sauce is absolutely fine, but it's possibly a little bit too thick because you want it's going to go around the pasta. So you want it to be a little bit looser. So actually, I've still got my tomato tin here, and all I've done is add some water, and that will actually rinse out, if you like, some of the tomato left in the pan, and also water down the sauce slightly. Okay, now that will obviously give you more sauce, but it will give me the consistency that I want. If for some reason you put too much water in and it's too wet, we'll just simmer it a little bit longer. Right, it really isn't a problem. So I'm going to put the meatballs in, just take them out, drop them in the sauce, and we'll turn this down a little bit. Again, so you want a gentle simmer. If you have this too high, it could break up the meatballs, right, which obviously is not what we want. So we'll put all these in. I'm going to simmer these for about 2 minutes, just so they're cooked. We'll then drain the pasta, then we're going to put together the final dish. Okay, so final stage. So pasta was cooked, that was a straight 10 minutes. The meatballs are cooked in the sauce, simply put it together. You've got a few choices here. You can put a bed of pasta and then put the sauce on top, which I don't do in Italy, I actually mix it together, so that's what we're going to do. So, just going to take this out, put it back into the saucepan. And then all you're going to sit and do is just pour A onto B, obviously being gentle. Whoops. Okay, messy, but clear it up. What we're then going to do, nice bowl. stir it through. And we're going to put some pasta. Obviously I've got more than I need here, but that's fine. Some meatballs. Get this out of the way. Now with presentation, it is important because I've slopped it in there to be neat. This is clean, by the way, this cloth. Nice and neat, so it looks attractive. There we go. If I had some fresh, a fresh block of parmesan, I would use that. I don't, so I'm going to have to use some of the pre-grated parmesan, which is okay. It just doesn't have quite the same depth of flavour as parmesan that you grate yourself. A little bit of cheese on top. And there we have it, the meatballs in a tomato sauce from Lady and the Tramp. Enjoy.